The Ferrari's back in the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go. You guys already know what time it is. You know, this man, Patrick Mahomes, is nothing short of spectacular, nothing short of magnificent, nothing short of special, and the greatness that he routinely puts on display. We just have to give this man his flowers. It's just so impressive. So that's where we begin on the AC podcast, because I'm going to get to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to get to them. But we first got to get to this man, Patrick Mahomes, and his Kansas City Chiefs. This team, 14-2 on the year. I've only lost one game with Patrick Mahomes in the starting lineup the last calendar year. Buffalo Bills, in my estimation, were the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs blew right past them. Easily. Score of this game was 38-14, the AFC Championship game. Buffalo Bills went up 9-0. Mecole Hardman muffing a punt, setting the Buffalo Bills up for, success with an easy touchdown. But other than that, the Buffalo Bills, they got ran out the building for most of this game. There just wasn't really much to speak of. I mean, at one point it was 31-15. And the Buffalo Bills scored some, late points and whatnot, try to make the game interesting, recover the onside kick. But basically, after the Chiefs got the ball back, after that Mecole Hardman gaffe, they basically ran away with this game. You talk about Mecole Hardman had a 50-yard rush. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce both went over 100 yards receiving. Patrick Mahomes was just orchestrating an aerial assault on the Buffalo Bills pass defense, reluctant to play man, playing zone and off coverage, and couldn't handle the speed of Tyreek Hill. It's just whatever defense you throw out against the Kansas City Chiefs, they have an answer for it. You try to double Kelce, Tyreek Hill eats you up. You play too far off either one of them, they eat you up. You try to get up and press Tyreek Hill or double team him, then you got Kelce to deal with. And then that's not even factoring in when they get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back up to 100%. That's not even also factoring in this guy Mecole Hardman and what he can do. It's just you just can't stop this team. You just can't. They average about 32 in playoff games. This team basically sleepwalked through the regular season and flipped the switch in the postseason. That's effectively what they did. You're talking about just this entire offense. It's just something to behold. When you're looking at this from the Buffalo Bills perspective, they had a nice season. Josh Allen, he just, didn't have enough help. Receivers just couldn't get open against the Chiefs' man coverage. Steve Spagnuolo got aggressive and blitzed him on a lot of third downs to mitigate his success outside the pocket on second reaction throws. The running game, most of that was Josh Allen, 7 rushes for 88 yards. He was the leading rusher. Basically accounted for 85% of the offense. And, Josh Allen, he didn't play bad, but he's just outmanned. That's just what it comes down to. This Chiefs team, they're just too much. They're just too much. And when you look at what this man Patrick Mahomes did, 29-38, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, a 95.8 QBR, it's just, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's just something to behold, and that's why this team's going to the Super Bowl. Do people realize Patrick Mahomes, since he's been starting in the league, this guy has at least made it to the AFC Championship game? At least. He's going to his second Super Bowl at the age of 25. He's been to 3 AFC Championship games. Never been anything less. This could be something, the start of something special. Because really we should be talking about him going to a 3rd straight Super Bowl if it wasn't for D Ford lining up off sides against the New England Patriots on a game-sealing interception. Really, that's what we should be talking about. Patrick Mahomes potentially going for a three-peat. But instead, this is what we're talking about. And when we boil it down to this, Patrick Mahomes is going up against the GOAT. So as we transition, because there wasn't really much to speak on as far as what Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs did to the Buffalo Bills, disposing of them. When we get to this Green Bay Packers game, the people I'm looking at as far as blame for this game is Matt LaFleur most of all. And then I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. Now, I get it. Some of you will say, well, Aaron Rodgers had 346 passing yards on 33 or 48 passing and 3 touchdowns and an interception. The man was sacked 5 times. Aaron Rodgers went 4 of 11 in the fourth quarter. His defense got 3 straight interceptions off Tom Brady, who played a terrible second half. And he only converted those 3 turnovers into 6 points. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers here. One of the most gifted throwers of the football we've ever seen in the NFL. And he went 4 of 11 in the fourth quarter. 3 turnovers his defense got for him. And he only converted that into 6 points. And then you talk about missing Devontae Adams on 3 straight plays in the red zone in the first half. And then you miss Allen Lazard on a wide open drag route that would have got you in the end zone. As far as I'm concerned, and then you talk about Aaron Rodgers not running it on 3rd down into the end zone or at least getting close on the Green Bay Packers last drive. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, yeah, he left 14 points on the board, at least. Not running it in. And then missed throw to Lazard. It's 14 points right there to me. If I'm looking at Matt LaFleur, though, because I feel like he's most culpable for this loss. You talk the decision not to go for it on 4th down. Idiotic. You talk about your defense just giving up. Well, what are the 3rd down stats here? Giving up 9 of 14 on 3rd down? Like, what was your defensive game plan? You and Mike Pettin deserve to be investigated. And then Kevin King, my Lord, getting scorched all over the field. First, you mistimed a jump. First, you mistimed your jump against Mike Evans on the first touchdown pass on the opening drive. You get scorched by him. Then with 8 seconds left, you let Scotty Miller run right by you in single coverage. Now, Matt LaFleur and Mike Pettin, I hold them both responsible for that. Number one, because Matt LaFleur, you're the head coach. You're responsible for the whole operation, not just your number one scoring offense. So I hold you responsible for that. And Mike Pettin, what the heck were you doing? Leaving Kevin King in single coverage instead of playing a soft zone, even if it was zone. Why are you not playing 2 safeties? The Bucs are trying to get into field goal range. They weren't even in field goal range at that point. And you decide to run a single high shell coverage and expose Kevin King. I don't know what Kevin King was doing. He was playing inside. Looked like he was playing inside, and Scotty Miller just ran right to the outside with all the field. And, it was over from there. Scotty Miller showed Kevin King the speed, and it was a wrap. So Matt LaFleur, for not going for it on 4th down, that questionable 2-point conversion that he went for, even though the dude dropped it, I didn't like that decision. You talk about leaving Kevin King in single coverage on these dudes and giving up touchdowns left and right. It was just inexcusable. It was just pathetic. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. But let's give the Bucs credit. Tom Brady, he's going to his 10th Super Bowl. He's led this Bucs team to the Super Bowl in his first year, despite COVID, despite being on a new team, having never played with these guys. You got to give this man a lot of credit. He's a GOAT for a reason. But the people I want to give the most credit to is this Bucs defense. You talk about they forced 4 turnovers against Drew Brees. They come in and forced 2 against Aaron Rodgers. And let's give this kid, Sean Murphy Bunting, a lot of love. This guy has been a playmaker since the postseason. Maybe we need to call him Playoff Sean. I don't know, but he's been making plays ever since he's gotten into the playoffs. This guy's everywhere. He's doing everything, and he makes opportunistic plays. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. You talk about this dude, Whitehead forcing a fumble on Aaron Jones at the beginning of the second half, put the Packers down 18. You talk about what else do we got here? You talk about this Bucs defensive line getting after him. I was surprised Vita Vea played a lot of snaps, but you talk about Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh, you can't run up the middle on this team. You talk about JPP and Shaq Barrett getting to the edges and, bum rushing Aaron Rodgers to the tune of 5 sacks so they can get after the quarterback. You talk about Devin White always being in the right place at the right time. You talk about, they didn't have Antoine Winfield for this game. I think he's the, their best secondary player overall. He's just a rookie, but they didn't have him. So, at one point they didn't have Jordan Whitehead. They were starting 2, new safeties back in the secondary. But you talk about all that, you can't run against this team. They're number one against the rush. You can't get to the edges because Levante David and Devin White will run you down like dogs. This is the best linebacking duo in the league. They can rush the passer. They're creating turnovers in the playoffs. This defense is legit. Todd Bowles has got these dudes, on their P's and Q's, and it's very, very impressive. And then you talk about the litany of receivers that Tom Brady can throw to. You're talking about Scotty Miller can get behind you. Mike Evans, can work all 3 levels of the defense. Chris Godwin's been reliable, had a big play, big catch for 52 yards. It's just this team. This is not going to be like the first matchup where Todd Bowles gave up 200 plus receiving yards to Tyreek Hill in the first quarter. That was just inexcusable. But for the people who try to absolve Aaron Rodgers, and I get it. I get it. People try to make these arguments that Aaron Rodgers has been surrounded with enough help, yet he has Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Granted, he got hurt in the game. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is no scrub. Robert Tonyan should have made the Pro Bowl. I mean, he led all tight ends in the NFC in touchdown catches, so come on now. Ridiculous. But, there's that. Here's about this Green Bay Packers team. I don't want to hear that they were overmatched. I don't want to hear that. They had the most Pro Bowlers in the NFL and the most All-Pros. Stop with these excuses. Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in NFC Championship games. He couldn't get this team over the hump. 4-11 in the fourth quarter. Not running it in for the touchdown on third down. Only scoring 6 points on 3 turnovers that your defense got you. I mean, give me a break. Aaron Rodgers just simply didn't do enough to win this game. And I get it, Matt LaFleur made a coaching gaffe, didn't decide to go for it on 4th down from the 8. I would have went for it with Aaron Rodgers. Now, I don't know the likelihood that you get it, but, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So, Matt LaFleur coach scared right there. There's no other way to describe it. But we can absolve Aaron Rodgers. When you listen to all the sports talk shows on Monday and on Tuesday, everyone's talking about Aaron Rodgers and his future and should he want to leave with Matt LaFleur. The funny thing to me is this. Everyone was for Aaron Rodgers and firing Mike McCarthy because his system was old and stale. Then Matt LaFleur comes in, wins 26 games in his first 2 years, goes to back-to-back NFC Championship games, and no one wants to give this guy any credit. It's all Aaron Rodgers. So when Aaron Rodgers was struggling with Mike McCarthy, it was Mike McCarthy's fault. But now that Aaron Rodgers is succeeding, he's about to win MVP. Now it's just all Aaron Rodgers. Matt LaFleur gets no credit. I find that very funny. I find that very, very funny. People want to make excuses and say this team's not good enough. I mean, how much better could the team be? People were complaining about the Packers not getting a receiver in the draft. I agree. But does a rookie receiver make that much of a difference on the number one scoring offense in the league? You didn't even score your average. You're averaging 32 points per game. You only scored 26. How about scoring your average and you would have won the game? Like, give me a break with some of this stuff. Let's stop making these excuses. You had more Pro Bowlers than the Tampa Bay Bucks. You had more All-Pros. You had a coach who's been to the NFC Championship game twice. You had the number one scoring offense. What is the problem? What is the deal? I'm not expecting perfection, No one should be. But no NFL team is perfect. Every team has holes. Every team has weaknesses that can be exploited. And for whatever reason, you came up small in the second half. 4 of 11 is not what we are accustomed to seeing from Aaron Rodgers. 6 points on 3 turnovers? Come on now. Your defense got you 3 picks, 2 by Jair Alexander, who's a top 3 corner, as far as I'm concerned. Jalen Ramsey, Tre'Davious White, Jair Alexander. Yeah, I like the way that sounds. But needless to say, your defense got you 3 picks and you only converted that into 6 points? Like I said, the numbers look great. But when you analyze the details, 6 points off 3 turnovers, 4 of 11 in the fourth quarter in money time, leaving 14 points on the board. I gotta look at you. I gotta look at you a little closer in your performance, Aaron Rodgers. And if you're supposed to be the MVP, you gotta deliver the goods. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I already said who deserves most blame for this. Matt LaFleur. You didn't go for it on 4th down. Regardless of whether you being a defensive, you're not a defensive head coach, you're offensive head coach. But guess what? The responsibility falls on you as far as the defensive game planning. You left Kevin King singled up against Mike Evans and gave up a touchdown. You left him singled up against Scotty Miller with 8 seconds left. I mean, these are coaching decisions. These are coaching errors. It's just as simple as that. You didn't run the ball nearly enough. I'm sorry, but it just is what it is. And that's why the Green Bay Packers aren't going to the Super Bowl. They didn't earn the right to. They didn't play well enough. And guess what? In the NFC and championship games against other quality competition, your coaching has to be stellar. And the Packers made too many errors. And they didn't capitalize on the other team's errors. That's just what it comes down to. Now we're looking at this Super Bowl matchup. There's so many intriguing, storylines, obviously. Patrick Mahomes going for back-to-back. Tom Brady going for his 7th. You talk about the matchups. Just this Bucs secondary against these Chiefs receivers. You talk about the Bucs edge rushers versus the Chiefs tackles. I mean, there's a big injury with Mitchell Schwartz out at right tackle for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, he might be running for his life. You're talking about this Chiefs defense and some of the things they've done down the stretch, mixing up their coverages, more too high looks, a little man. You talk about what the Bucs did to the Packers, playing a lot of man under and using the, opposite safety to cut crossers over the middle, playing some quarters coverage. But when you look at all that, it's going to be an intriguing matchup. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, you guys already know who I'm rolling with. You already know who I'm rolling with, the Ferrari. But we can't downplay the fact that the Bucs can win this game. You talk about the litany of receivers that they have. The Chiefs, I don't know if they can match up. I like L'Jarius Sneed. Bashad Breeland, he's all right. Javarius Ward. But really, what's going to decide this game, at least on the Chiefs defense, is their pass rush. Because Chris Jones, he's got to have a monster game like he did last year in the Super Bowl, where he was just affecting Jimmy Garoppolo, making him uncomfortable. Because Tom Brady, he's a statue in the pocket. He's not going anywhere. He's not scrambling. So that's really what is going to decide the game to me. Is can they get pressure on Tom Brady? You saw the Packers the one time they blitzed him and they got home. Tom Brady closed his eyes and threw a prayer pick into the sky like a fool. So you can coax Tom Brady into errors and mistakes. And Steve Spagnuolo, he's not afraid to heat up the quarterback. But when I'm looking at these matchups, the Bucs, they're one of the most predictable first down teams because they run the ball ineffectively. They run the ball and they run it ineffectively on first down. And the Chiefs, they're the third best team, according to analytics at least. They're the third best team against, long, to go situations. second down and long, third and long situations. So that's something the Bucs are going to have to be wary of and not get too predictable in their play calling, which is up to Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the safety play, Tyrann Mathieu and Juan Thornhill, and how they're going to mix things up, because we've seen Steve Spagnuolo rotate Tyrann Mathieu into a linebacker role and have him be robber and cover two shells. You know, so that's going to be something to watch. Daniel Sorensen, who's he going to match up with in the slot? Is it going to be Rob Gronkowski? The tight ends, is it going to be, you know, Godwin? That's going to be an interesting, intriguing matchup. Frank Clark, he shouldn't have made the Pro Bowl, but can he get pressure off the edge? Really, him and Chris Jones off that. Those two are going to be key. Because Chris Jones, you know, he hasn't been as dominant as last year or even the year before. But if he can turn it on this game in the Super Bowl, that's going to make all the difference. We've seen Tyrann Mathieu and what he can do. He's gotten, you know, picks in back-to-back games. Or, well, affected at least, you know, plays in back-to-back games. Got a pick against the Browns. I don't think he got one against the Bills. But needless to say, he's going to be an integral part of this. I do think the Chiefs can be exposed in the middle of their defense with their linebackers and run and pass coverage. I've been saying it all year. So that's going to be something where Tom Brady might be able to exploit those matchups with deep crossers to Godwin, with, you know, tight ends, Cameron Brate and Rob Gronkowski. That's going to be something to watch. See how Steve Spagnuolo adjusts to that. Todd Bowles, we're gonna see what he has as far as blitzing, because we already know he likes to heat up the quarterback. And Patrick Mahomes has the number one QPR against the blitz. So we don't know how that goes. But if you play man coverage, the Bucs have been up in their man coverage, you know, in the playoffs. Did a lot against the Saints, did a lot against the Green Bay Packers. You play man coverage against Mahomes, you better have a spy, because he'll get to running, number one. And then number two, do you have the dudes that can match up with Kelsey and Hill? They really don't. But last time the Bucs played, they didn't have Jamel Dean, who's a more athletic corner, who I think they'll actually put on Tyreek Hill, because they put Carlton Davis on him. It's over. If they put Carlton Davis on Tyreek Hill, it's a wrap. If Todd Bowles does that, the Bucs have no chance. I don't care if they double team him. No, they can't do that. This guy's the best receiver in the league as far as I'm concerned. I know Stephon Diggs led the league in catches and yards. I don't care. Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the league. He's the only one that you literally line up against him, and you are fearful that this guy will embarrass you. You're fearful. You have to have all eyes on him at all times. This dude, his speed is just something else. It's something out of this world. We've never seen a guy run like he does in pads. As fast as he is, a 4.2 40. And then you're talking about McCole Hardman, a 4.3. Then you're talking about Travis Kelce over the middle. Can run any route in the route tree. And can get yards after the catch. And then if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is healthy, you're talking about him in the passing game against the Bucs linebackers, which will also be an intriguing matchup. It's just the Bucs are going to have, you know, Todd Bowles is going to have to drop a hell of a defensive game plan. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. I want this game to be a shootout. I want it to come down to the final possession. Hopefully we get a 38-45 type of game or something like that. That's what I want. I want to see points flying all over the scoreboard, because the weapons are there. You're talking about Antonio Brown's going to be back for this. You're talking about Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You're talking about Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, McCole Hardman, Edwards-Helaire, Cameron Brate, Leonard Fournette, Rojo. There's just so many weapons. And we're talking about two of the best quarterbacks in the league, Tom Brady orchestrating his offense and Patrick Mahomes orchestrating that aerial assault in Kansas City. I just want to see it. I just want to see fireworks. That's all I want to see. But that's really all I got. I'm just excited about this matchup. Super Bowl's coming to, where I live, Tampa Bay. First team to ever host a Super Bowl in their home. So that's going to be interesting. More credit to Tom Brady's legacy. But hopefully next time I come on here, I'll have some guests with me. I'm trying to get them to come back on. But, you guys know how scheduling works. These things, everybody moving different, so it is what it is. But hopefully that can transpire so we can have a Super Bowl preview and get to a lot of different discussions. I want to talk to these guys about Deshaun Watson and what they think about that. Talk about, my Eagles, talk about the Steelers, talk about the Bucks. He's a big Bucks fan, so I'm sure he's excited his team's in the Super Bowl. I want to see what else Toby's been breaking down on film and see what interests. We got there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Jared Goff and that whole debacle right now. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff going on. Matthew Stafford requested a trade. It's just NFL, it never stops with its intrigue. That's for certain. So I want to pick these guys' brains and see what they think about all these situations. So hopefully we can get this scheduling down because I want to see what they think about all this stuff that's been going on. And, also, the Eagles hired their head coach. Press conference is, when you guys hear this, it'll be Friday. So, but I'm recording this on Thursday, but needless to say, I'm going to be back on with that for the Eagles fans. Y'all already know. I rep y'all, fly Eagles fly. But I'm going to be back with that once the coach has his press conference. I already got notes about his staff that I want to share with you guys. So I'm definitely going to be talking about the staff hirings and, the press conference and my takeaways. So definitely going to come back with that hopefully next week so you guys can hear that. And that's about it. So ideally, y'all are going to hear about, the Eagles coaching staff and whatnot for all my Eagles fans out there. And then everybody else, hopefully I can get these two brothers back on like I did last year for the Super Bowl and have a Super Bowl preview where we can just come to the table and talk some shop about all the stuff going on in the league. But until then, I appreciate you guys for listening. As always, like, share, and subscribe. As always, if you have fan questions, put your questions underneath this episode and I'll answer any of them. You guys already know. If anybody else wants to come on the show, feel free. But until then, I appreciate you guys for listening. This is the AC Podcast. Signing off. One love.